From the Live X Studios in New York City, Cheesehead TV brings you two guys who like to think they know something about football.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the 2020 edition of Packer Transplants Live. I am Aaron Nagler, and I am joined, as always, by Mr. Corey Behnke, my partner here at Cheesehead TV. I am coming to you from the Live X studio in Midtown Manhattan. Corey joins us live from Green Bay, Wisconsin. Corey, what do we have on tap today?
Today, we'll bask in the glow of the Packers' 2-0 start that has seen Matt LaFleur's crew whooping up on division rivals Minnesota and Detroit. But first, we've got the good, the bad, and the ugly. We got the good, we got
Aaron Jones.
We got the bad, we got
Jace Stonehands Sternberger.
We got the ugly, we got
Run defense, wherefore art thou run defense? Corey Behnke, how the hell are you, buddy?
Woo! I'm doing good. I can't believe it only took us 2 weeks to get this show on. What is this, our
2 weeks and a couple months?
9th season, 8th season?
I don't know. It's 198
Packer Transplants,
episodes.
198, Nagler. 198 episodes.
8. Pretty
wow,
pretty
who would have
crazy. I don't know, man.
Who would have thunk it? I definitely didn't think it when I didn't. Yeah, almost on 200. What are we doing for 200?
For 200.
Are we the first show in Wisconsin to have a tailgate of our own for our very own show?
I think it's true. I think you speak the truth. Joey the Jaguar, Big B, throwing down.
Joey the Jaguar,
Tailgates.
Big B are throwing down. They tailgated for Transplants. Even though we delayed the show, they still made it out. You got to give it up for those guys.
They've been tailgating for a week. What can you do? They started last Wednesday when they thought we were going to go, and they just kept the tailgate going. It's fine. We love you guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
They got brats.
Thanks to everybody, by the way, joining us on Facebook, on YouTube.
Nice.
Great to see everybody here. I'm kind of surprised how many people are here. It's kind of like people, kind of like the show, Corey. I think it's all you. They just want to see
It's a Wednesday.
you. It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
People got, very little to do at this point in the day, later in the day on Wednesday. We've had practice. We've heard from Matt LaFleur. We've heard from Aaron Rodgers. We've got the injury report. People are ready to kick back, relax, maybe have a beverage, and talk some Packers.
Maybe have a beverage, talk some Packers. Well, let's do that.
All right.
Packers are 2-0, baby.
Hey.
2-0.
Hey, that's interesting because that's the first piece of Packers news. Breaking news, Corey Behnke. The Packers are 2-0. And not only are they 2-0.
I don't think
they're 2-0 against division rivals, my friend. Division rivals.
Yeah, so we're what did they say? We're 2.5, Rich Eisen. Rich Eisen, I almost put on Twitter today. I'm so bummed he picked the Minnesota Vikings to be division champs, bro.
It's
Rich.
It's okay. Rich is allowed. He's up there in the cushy confines of NFL Network. We're down here in the slums of Cheesehead.
It was a
TV,
little depressing.
What are you going to do,
I just got to say, it depressed me. I wasn't angry about it. I was just kind of sad.
People get carried away sometimes with the offseason, the thinking of, Kirk Cousins is actually going to do something. And obviously that's a bit silly. But, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I can forgive the man. I forgive the man. The Packers
forgive
are 2-0.
and forget, kind of.
Forgive and forget, kind of. And that means Matt LaFleur is 8-0 in the division. I mean, talk about announcing your presence with authority. And I really, obviously 2-0 to start the season, 8-0 in the division for Matt LaFleur. These are all things these are great things, right? But there is one gigantic disappointment so far this year. And I'm not talking about the run defense. I'm talking about Fox not holding the shot when Matt LaFleur and Mike Zimmer were walking towards each other after the game. And we didn't get the shot
what a fail.
of whatever the handshake might have been. Never got to see it. So that's a huge fail on Fox's part.
So if they didn't broadcast it, did it happen?
I don't know. What's funny is I was going to ask Coach, but then I thought I'd probably kind of be beating it into the ground a little bit, so I don't want to do that. I don't know. I know.
You beating things into the
exactly.
ground?
I knew that was.
That sounds like me.
I knew that's where this was going. I knew it. But the next things we got up here, things we don't want to talk about, we got to talk about them because they are Packers news. The statuses of Devonta Adams and then one Kenny Clark, both of whom missed practice today. I mean,
Kenny Clark's the more serious we think of than Devonta, right?
Well, I think so, yeah. The reporting around Devonta's injury.
Very broad assumption based on the reporting. Broad. Yeah, based on the fact that he could play him. There's some coach that he could play, right?
Yep,
Today
absolutely.
He said he could if he wanted to, but he's holding him back.
I asked him that very question. And, you know, the idea being, how much do you need to see from these guys during the week? Because remember, Mike always used to talk about, well, I want to see at least a little something on the field during the week, during practice, even if it's just Friday's practice. For them to go during the game. Matt was very much like, I don't need to see anything because I know what they can do. So I guess some of that could be gamesmanship.
I kind of agree with that, though. Like Devonta, I mean, the guy's already proven, if he's...
I hear you.
Like, they doubled him, and every time they didn't double him, he basically beat the guy he needed to beat. Yeah. So I don't know what else you need from the guy.
If I had to guess right now, Devonta won't play. I know that really kind of sucks, but I think it's a long-term decision. You got to think past just this week, and you got to look at, you know, it's a long season, even if it is a minor injury, which that's what it sounds like. Yeah, hamstrings are tricky things. You don't want to aggravate it. You don't want it nagging him all year. I would suspect they said.
I mean, and I don't know that it sucks too for the offense, right? It's like this offense is going to have to make points with and without Devonta. So
yeah, I mean, it didn't last year.
What was it? 6 games? Not 6 games, 4 games. I can't remember how many games.
4 games in a row, and they won them all.
I knew it was.
And the thing is this offense through the first 2 weeks looks worlds better than the offense last year prior to Devonta going down. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be easy.
This offense looks like it can basically do whatever it wants at will right now. I know it's Minnesota and Detroit, but
as long as they get out of their own way. It's interesting. We'll get to this in the offensive part because we have one more thing to talk about when it comes to news that I did want to touch on real quick is Layne Taylor being placed on IR. I feel for Layne in the best way, in the sense that I wish the best for him. But how much does it just got to suck? We talked to Layne this summer about how awful it was to miss the entire season last year and everything he had to go through to get back to this point, to have him win that job and play pretty damn well there week 1 prior to going down. Heartbreak just breaks for the guy. And his contract's up in March, so who knows if he's even back next year. Man, shout out to Layne Taylor, a true pros pro. I hope if he's not back in Green Bay, that he's catching on someplace else next year, and he brings it back 1,000%, because he's one of the good ones.
For sure.
Hey, cops are there. Cops are there, Behnke. They're coming to arrest you for your takes.
Yeah, there he is right here. He's coming by. Oh, he just pulled this guy over in the Lambeau Field. Oh, we got some breaking news. Man gets pulled over in the Lambeau. It's gonna, dude. He's gonna go across the pro shop. He's actually gonna come in the shot. And oh no, he didn't. He turned. I don't know if you can see it. The cop's right there. Yeah, here's the cop right there. Okay.
You didn't want to be on
camera.
Sorry,
I know that was fascinating.
Hey, this is the kind of programming you get here at CheeseheadTV. We aren't just covering the Packers, we're covering the crime beat in the greater Green Bay metropolitan area.
Wow, all right. Let's talk about the offense.
Let's talk about the offense. Let's get to the offense. I want to start off probably in a place that many people wouldn't suspect we'd lead with, but I got to talk about Adam Stenk, the offensive line coach. Because, look, there was a lot of question marks going into this season, especially on the right side of that line. No matter how much we tried to parse it, no matter what we saw in practice, we didn't really know what was going to happen there week 1. And, man, they've been put through the ringer already as far as injuries and having to move guys around, bringing rookies in, etc. And they haven't missed a beat. And Aaron, I think, has been sacked 1 time through 2 games. That's high praise to Stenk for a guy who, remember when he was hired? Because this is what I was thinking about when we were putting this together. When he was hired, the local beat was so kind of, not up in arms, but very like tisk to Matt LaFleur, because he hired such a young guy with such limited experience. And it was obviously Campen had been there forever. And I know Campen was really good to a lot of the people on the beat. So it's always hard to watch one of those people leave. But man, Stenk just put his head down and has done his job these first 2 years, and these first 2 weeks especially. No question about it. That offensive line has been
I always think
great.
It's funny. I always think it's hilarious when reporters think that they know how to manage people. I just think that's hilarious. You want your guy, you want your guy.
That's a very good
I'll
point.
tell you this right now. if I'm in charge of human beings, I need all the human beings to work for me. I don't want anybody left over from the quote-unquote old regime, right? You just don't want any of that. And, I get that. I get that 100%.
And there's a rare occasion where that works. You know, like Ben Simmons, the running backs coach. That was Mike McCarthy.
Totally.
Hell, Mike Pettin. Although that does sound like it was kind of foisted upon LaFleur. But there are instances where you can make the determination, like, this person is right for the gig, right? But, yeah, for the most part, if the buck stops with me, I want it to be my choices. And, you know, it really
and also,
looks like
if you look at LaFleur's defense, if you look at LaFleur's offense, like, he needs, like, this – the only thing that can stop this offense, to your point about, like, we can only stop ourselves, the offensive line is that engine more so than any other piece of, you know, besides Aaron Rodgers, of course. But, you know, we need that engine to go, and it is fascinating, like, what he's been able to do. I saw a stat that someone posted where Wagner has only 2 hurries. That's it.
But Wagner has been.
I'm like, wow.
I'm not going to say lights out.
I wanted to be like,
but he's been
2
solid
hurries.
as,
2
solid
hurries?
as hell.
Really? 2 hurries? I couldn't find that meme though.
But he's been solid as hell, man. It's almost like, now bear with me here. It's almost like Brian Gutekunst had a plan. Brian Gutekunst had a plan and thought, you know what? Wagner is part of this plan, and now the plan is working. Now, we'll obviously get to the defense soon enough because that's where the plan starts to be a little bit questionable. But on the offensive line, it sure seems like the plan seems to be working. I just wanted to give Stenovic a shout-out. But speaking of shout-outs, offensive lines, plans working, can we just marvel? Can we bask in the glow of Aaron Jones' 75-yard run for a touchdown?
Wow.
I mean, talk about a house call opening up the second half. Al, can we play this? Because it's just a beautiful thing. I can't get enough of this freaking video. Are you kidding me? Look at this. I mean, that's like, you know how when things go totally wrong and people talk about, oh, it's just like they drew it up, like sarcastically? This literally is how they drew it up. Like, albeit like maybe 1 or 2 slight variations or places where somebody had to adjust for maybe a guy that wasn't where he was supposed to be on the whiteboard or whatever. But for the most part, it's so rare in football where you go, okay, this is it, and you're going to run this, and this is going to be a touchdown. Like, every play is designed to eventually end in the end zone. Of course, most of them don't.
Yeah.
This one did, and it was freaking amazing. I love it. I love it. And I loved
it was.
And I loved that the fireworks gave it away on our watch party.
Yeah, welcome to my life, Nagler. That's what always happens.
Well, that's
why I remember when I can tweet. I can tweet. I can basically take the video of the fireworks and then show the play happening if I time it right. If I'm really working at it.
I love it. If you're real, I mean, we don't need you to work on every touchdown, obviously, but a little pepper of spice there. It's always good. Absolutely. What's up next? What we got? We got Aaron. We said Aaron Jones. We got Aaron Rodgers playing in rhythm. How about this?
Okay, so Aaron. So I saw this chart where, and I was like, it's day and night, okay? I saw this next gen stat, and it showed like where Aaron Rodgers had targeted for this last game, and it's like 80% in the middle of the field.
It's crazy, right?
I mean, it's crazy. It's like day and night to last year and like the last like 6 years, right?
It's absolutely insane. It is absolutely insane, and it was noticeable during the summer. You guys who have been on our Packers Daily Chats know we've been talking about it for about a month now. It is, as Corey just said, it is night and day. It is something, there is some kind of weird, comfortable aspect to it all of a sudden with Rodgers. And, you know, he has credited, obviously, playing in rhythm, being centered, the work he's done with his legs in the offseason as far as building up his strength after he broke his leg, blah, blah, blah. I mean, whatever it is, I don't care if he's eating his Wheaties, whatever it is fantastic to watch. I am loving.
I mean, he's clearly bought into the rubs and the meshes, and you know, he's
just getting it out in rhythm.
He's completely,
no question.
He's bought into this. Okay, so not to like the interview you did with PFF, okay, to start the season. At the end of that interview, you do this interview. They were great to you, and then after they like started talking all this shit, And like they were like, oh well, you know, this entire everything that Aaron Nagler is saying is predicated on the fact that, you know, Aaron Nagler is very bought into Matt LaFleur and him as a coach for the Green Bay Packers. And to me, it's one of those things where like I don't need. Well, yeah, right. So like, no, but so I'm like, okay, well, you know, it's a classic analytic move, right? It's like if I just move the baseline away from you, now your entire argument has no legs, right? And what I'm going to say is not only are we bought into Matt LaFleur as a coach right now, but there is even, you know, as hyped up as I am for this season, and I have been pretty much since, you know, since January, since we were out of this thing, since the North was not enough. You could feel it from this team no matter what. And COVID was not going to stop this team, and you can see the buy-in. You don't need analytics to see the buy-in from the key players, in my opinion.
Oh, I very much agree. I very much agree there. I mean, across the board. And it's funny because there's that, you know, remember the Titans quote, attitude reflects leadership. I don't think there's any question Aaron Rodgers coming in as loose and as open as he has been, and he talked about it on McAfee's show yesterday, that permeates throughout the roster. Yeah. You know, like you feel it every day when you're coming into work. You're coming into the locker room. You know what it's like when you have a boss and or a leader on your team, whatever that may be, their attitude, however it is from day to day, and they are aware of it more often than not, it just affects everybody else. And, you know, so far, you know, obviously tough times have yet to hit in a real way this season. But when they do, I suspect Aaron will still be right where he is right now. And it's been pretty amazing to watch. No doubt about it. But you just mentioned. Well,
and then before we leave.
Right. Go ahead.
Sorry. Before we leave the offense, I just want to say that, you know, last season it felt like this offense didn't have, you know, there were times even in McCarthy's period where we had an offense that it didn't matter if we went into jumbo or we went into a running play or we told you what we were going to play, we could still kind of dictate and do things our way no matter what you were playing against us, right?
I mean,
at our best.
Classic Mike McCarthy, I'm going to run
last season you didn't feel that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
no
100%. But last season you didn't see that. You didn't see that, like, confidence, whatever you want to call it, attitude. Right now, to me, it feels like even if they get off a drive or a quarter, like at any moment, what's up? At any moment, they can turn it on and deliver, and that's kind of really exciting because there's that tension in this offense
it's that
I love. Where it's like
feeling.
You're waiting for that guy. Yep, you're waiting for that guy to ascend, right? It's like you've got all these like playmakers, and you know, like what they did on Devonta. They keyed on Devonta, and a bunch of guys. Aaron Jones has a crazy game, right? And that's what you know that's going to happen. You know, Stonehand Sternberger is going to step up his game, right? You're going to see a Bob.
I'm just kidding with Jace.
Well,
Jace knows I love him. But it is kind of funny.
I love him on Twitter. He's hilarious on Twitter. We got to get him on the show.
We definitely do.
We got to talk to him about
he's down,
Twitter.
Actually, I asked him this offseason if he wanted to come on. He said yes, so we'll get him on. Definitely.
Nice. Awesome. Nice. Well, and I was talking about rubs and meshes. I was trying to give you that segue, Nagler.
Yes. Well, I was just going to say, the pick plays that you mentioned, I want to, because this is what I do every year. I let Ben Fennell do all the hard work as far as, like, ripping plays and then, like, giving them really cool graphics, and then I just rip it from the internet and play it on our show. So let's do,
nice.
Al, let's roll this here. Ben put this together a couple days ago. This is the stuff I'm absolutely loving this year. You know, look how the lead dog, that he just circles it there, is basically he's running a route, so to speak, into the defender to create space underneath. You see it here again. Jones is in the backfield. All right, yeah, Jones is in the back. This is the touchdown. Again, just running interference. Now, this one, I wouldn't have been surprised if they had thrown a flag on it. However, I think what kind of makes them okay is that they're still within a yard of the line of scrimmage, which technically is supposed to be legal, but we have seen that be called before. Hell, down in Atlanta a couple years ago, I remember Mike McCarthy wanted to, like, kill somebody because they basically called what was totally legal in the rule book. So you never really know which way it's going to go. And LaFleur has been leaning into those a lot these first 2 weeks. And I actually asked Devonta today, what do you expect the counter to be? Because it's like at some point you've put that on tape so many times and in so many crucial third down situations.
I was going to ask you that on this show, actually. That's funny.
Teams are going to know. Well, that's why I asked Devonta, because if I know. but teams are going to start countering it, right? And funnily enough, Devonta's answer was kind of hilarious because he said, oh, they've tried to do everything they can already, and they can't stop it. And because whatever they do, if they want to play zone, if they want to drop the pluggers, he called them, guys who look like they're going to blitz, but then try to like drop into your lane. We're just going to go. We're going to go underneath them. We're going to go over them. They still got to make the play. They've still got to work the timing, and they're just as well oiled as this offense is at the moment. Good luck. So essentially, that was Devonta's message. Which, hey, I am here for.
I mean, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that. I was watching Dusty Evely had this thing about mesh, and I was watching him all of the stuff he pulled for the mesh stuff, and I was like, what? And I was actually reading about like what is the counter for mesh? What is the counter for? And it's like, the fact that we have an amazing running back core is kind of like the counter to that, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, absolutely, because you can utilize them out of the backfield if they want to try and do that. You can like feint or run a misdirection, or even just, hey, old school run the ball, like right at it. Because that's the other thing you can do if people want to try and counter it and play coverage, so to speak. You can run at it. The problem is like, of course, the Packers have been using it a lot on third downs. So it's not like you can run on third and long too many times. But on second down, first down, I'm all for it. All right. Let's talk about the defense, because we have to.
I mean, the defense is ascending. I don't care what anybody says. We're 2-0.
Thank you,
even
Behnke.
try.
I knew you'd keep it positive. Thank God you're here.
No, but I mean, come on, man. Like Z hasn't had a takeover game, but he's had some really good plays. Yep. Where's Preston Smith?
Preston's been a bit
Kenny
quiet.
Clark not being there, you can feel that. You can feel how Kenny Clark really is like a cog. He's one of those really key guys, and him out of there, you can see a difference to me. Whereas, like with the offensive line, it's not the same, in my opinion.
Oh, of course. I mean, the talent level is not even comparable when the drop off. You remove Kenny, they got. I'm sorry to say, nobody who's even close to comparable, talent level-wise. And look, I think the one shining bright spot, there actually probably have been two so far on the defensive side of the ball, are Rashawn Gary and Jair Alexander. And there are other guys playing well.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question. However, those two guys, those are the ones that are really getting me excited and making me think, all right, there's talent here. There's lots of talent. It's in different spots, but there's talent to win. It's just they're just getting beat up front. And this Detroit game was ugly to watch. The tape, these guys are on the ground every fucking running play. I don't know. We were talking about the plan working so well on the offensive side of the ball earlier in the show. I don't know what the plan is or was this offseason. I mean, you knew you only had Kenny up front. You knew if he went down, you were FUBAR. Well, Kenny went down, and now you're FUBAR. And I don't know what the answer is, because I don't see any cavalry sitting out there on the free agent scrap heap, I think they're kind of praying that they get a Howard Green falling into their lap or a Grady Jackson back in the day, because outside of that,
oh man, that would be sweet.
That type of talent just doesn't, it's not just sitting out there as a free agent signing come week 3 of the NFL season. It just isn't, So unless some other team has some kind of maybe personality issue or whatever, I don't see how that's going to happen.
Well, this goes to the next thing we have on our script, which is like, I was last night, I think it's last night, and we're talking about Dean Lowry now. So can Dean Lowry not be that ascending player we need him to be? Dean Lowry, I think he's $3 or $4 million against the cap right now. Like he's like number 12 on the team or something.
Did you do some research?
Don't take that.
Did you take notes?
Don't take that for here's what happened. Okay, people?
All right.
I was thinking about transplants. I was getting all depressed last night because I was like thinking about all of our free agents, which we'll talk about later, who's going to become a free agent or whatever the hell you want to call them. They're going to be ready for it. They need another contract. Yep. And then I was looking, and I started to be looking at all these cap things on the internet, which took me down this whole rabbit hole, which I should not have gone down. And then I was like, all right, wait. So if they do this, and I'm like, there's like 10 people on the internet that are better than this. So then I was like, no, but I don't trust them. Okay, so I'm gonna do this thing, and then I was like, I'm gonna make a Google sheet. So then I had a Google sheet. So then I'm like, wait a second, just dude, what? Yeah, because I needed something to take me out of the rabbit hole, and I couldn't find anything. So then I started tweeting, and then I went to sleep. Anyway,
Wait,
Dean
so wait,
Lowry
but
is
no, wait,
up there.
No,
so what?
Nope. Before we go on to Dean
It's
Lowry,
your fault, Nagler. It's your fault. You were the one that tweeted.
I want to recap the Corey Behnke attack plan for solving the cap problem is look at other people, not trust them, do your own Google sheet, tweet some stuff, and then go to sleep.
Give up.
Russ Ball, if you're listening, that's your key, buddy. There it is. Corey has laid it out.
Man, that was terrible. So, Nagler, you started me down this path, okay? You were the one, you tweeted, you were like, what was Brian thinking about signing Dean Lowry? And then I was like, wait a second, Dean Lowry, oh yeah, that's right. And then I was remembering.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like,
he's
what?
on this
and then
team.
I was like, oh, wait a second.
I never know it. Right. I feel you.
No, I know he's on the team, but it's like I didn't realize it was that big of a contract and everything. That's pretty big, right?
Yeah, well, this was my point. And it's funny you bring up that tweet because, some days you're in the shower and you're singing. Some days you're in the shower and you start thinking about Dean Lowry's contract. And that's what it was. I just got out of the shower. I had been thinking about the kind of that moment, right, where it was that 1-2 punch of cutting Mike Daniels and then signing Dean. I think it was literally the next day they signed Dean to this extension. It was always just a really
So was that like a comfort food sign or something? Like you got to have.
It's just
what
weird.
Was that?
I don't know, but that's my point. And I had so many people in my mentions, and I get this, saying like, oh, well, cutting Mike was obviously the right thing to do. And okay, yes, his body broke down in Detroit. You can't question that. But who's to say the same thing would have happened in Green Bay? And why not utilize him? You've already got him under contract. At least ride that body in your run defense until it breaks down on your own dime, rather than cutting it for nothing. And then, by the way, losing that player who was better at his job than anybody else along that defense. So that, to me, was always kind of mystifying because, look, I think Dean is a fine rotational guy. The successful NFL teams are filled with guys like Dean Lowry. But most successful NFL defenses are not filled with Dean Lowrys who have his kind of contract. And I know I'm going to get so much shit on Twitter for people who go, oh, you always talk about it's not your money. It's like you don't care what the contracts are. And you're right. For the most part, I don't. But it's just this, like I said, this mesh point of cutting Mike Daniels and then signing Dean the next day to very obviously fill that spot was always so weird to me. It still feels weird.
I think where it comes in, and I know it's different, what Dean's thing is here. Where it really comes in is when you can't sign other players because you have people like, for instance, Jimmy Graham is like $3.5 million of dead cap space, right?
Right.
So, like, when you discover things like that, I actually don't worry about the money. And also, people on Twitter, a lot of people are like,
as far as the money goes. Yeah.
Cap is a mystery, right? Like, how come some teams, like, I don't understand, how come some teams can get away with, like, all this, like, mystery voodoo, and,
well,
like, we can never do that. And I understand we're going to pay as we go. I understand that's a different, I understand the two philosophies, right? Right. But I still am like, man, can't we just give somebody a big bonus or something? Like, can't we do something?
Well, they will. They'll work it out. I know Bakhtiari's interview yesterday has set off some alarm bells in Packer fandom, but look, if there's a way that Russ Ball and Brian Gutekunst can get that done, they will. And I think there's a way, and they'll find it. And there's no doubt they'll have to absolutely 1,000% need to be at their, I want to say trickiest, but at their cap navigating best, because of the fact that the revenue streams are going to be way below what they usually are. The cap is going to shrink next year. There's no question there. And they got a lot of other guys to pay. As well, Corey.
Yeah, I hear that. But I'm going to say, like, I personally feel like two things I want to say to that. One, I personally feel like you got to spend into your revenue. It doesn't make sense, but you got to spend into there because, like, there's going to be a lot of teams. You're going to be more competitive probably if you spend into that. The Packers have the reservoir. The second thing is, okay, this is going to depress a lot of people.
It is a hard cap.
I understand, Nagler. Yeah. Nagler, I understand.
All right, Coach.
If they do not sign David Bakhtiari, okay?
All right.
Then there are no more Green Bay Packers from Pitch Perfect. Just going to put that out there.
You know what, Corey? That is an angle I had not considered. My God, it is an emergency. My God, what are we doing? Get Russ Ball on the phone. What have I been thinking
Can we
this whole
just
time?
please?
Wow.
I don't want to live in a world. I don't want to live in a world where I watch Pitch Perfect 2,
Right.
and those guys are not Green Bay. One of them is not a Green Bay Packer. I don't like it.
Okay, I just want
like
to.
it.
I know. I said we don't usually want to address the comments until later in the show. We do it usually at the end. We'll get to your super chats at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I just want to say to everybody, making snarky remarks about my thoughts in the shower. I'm just saying, man, I'm comfortable with my shower thoughts. If you guys are all like uncomfortable with what you do in the showers and what you think about, that's on you. I'm totally comfortable. So it's all good. It's all good. We're all friends here. At least some of us are.
All right.
All right. Moving
let's
on.
get back to the defense, Nagler.
Let's talk about Alexander and King.
Jair Alexander.
Let's talk about Alexander
and Kevin King.
I mean, these guys. Come on. You don't as suspect as Dean Lowry has been. Jair Alexander and Kevin King have been ballers, especially Jair Alexander.
I mean,
this kid has.
the guy
pro written all over.
The guy makes a mistake and gets a safety. Like, come on, man! You're a superstar.
Hey,
like,
remember,
that doesn't get any.
Remember what they used to tell us
caliber level play because only the good get lucky, my friend.
North Carolina School of the Arts. Remember,
better to be lucky than good.
No, if you're gonna make a mistake, make it big.
Oh.
Commit.
Yeah, that's right.
Commit to it. And that's what he did.
Right.
I
loved that.
The moment.
I loved that.
I love that he's told the truth right after the game. That was the best part.
Well, I was going to say, I love that he did it. And then I love the honesty. I love the honesty of just the brazenness of like the honest brazenness. I love it. I love all of it. Give it to me. Feed it to me.
No. Well,
love it.
I will say, they are obviously going to be tested this week, and not necessarily even if Thomas goes or doesn't go. Sean Payton knows how to draw offensive game plans. You can say what you want about Drew Brees, his accuracy, he's getting older, etc. We've been down this road, specifically down in New Orleans, way too many times to take this team lightly, especially when it comes to their Sean Payton's offense against the Packers defense. They're going to be tested, and this is going to be a lot of fun to watch, I think, especially given Jair and Kevin's kind of mentality. I mean, they are two of the most confident humans you will ever meet in your entire life, and I am here for it, as the kids like to say.
Well, and I feel like it's going to be a high-scoring game
I do too.
as we transition to previewing the game.
Well done. Look
See
at
how
you.
I see what I did there,
Look at
Nicholas?
that. Just like
Can you believe it? I've only gone on one tangent.
We haven't done the show in like 6 months, and you're like right on it. I love it. And from Green Bay, you're not even sitting across from me today. It's amazing. I think as far as the Saints game goes, I do think it's going to be high scoring. I don't want it to be. I want it to be a low scoring affair, but I think it's going to be one of those games where the Packers have to control the football. They have to take the air out of the game, so to speak. They have to run the ball. They have to be efficient on third down. They have to stay ahead of the sticks. And most importantly, they have to keep the New Orleans offense on the sideline. People are talking about the Raiders running the football, which they did successfully, and Waller's had a huge game.
Yeah.
I get all of that. But mostly what the Raiders did was keep the Saints on the sideline. You saw at the end of the game, and yes, obviously the Raiders were playing a bit off, but all of a sudden it was a 2-score game. A minute 30 later, it was a 1-score game. The Saints can cook at any moment. And the fewer opportunities you give them, the better off you're going to be. So for me, this is one of those games where a Packer man will be happy to hear, I will not kill them if they take the play clock down to 1 every single time, because it means they are bleeding the clock and keeping Drew and the offense on the sideline. I'm here for it.
I agree with that. I mean, I feel like looking at that Raiders game, I think that there are going to be some opportunities for our defensive line to find holes. I'm hoping that they kind of have a little bit of a takeover, some takeover quarters. And I also feel like, Drew Brees, I know he's dangerous, but, Kevin King and Jair Alexander are they're sniffing right now. They're trying to smell him out.
Well, he had some really uncharacteristic throws in that game Monday night. One in particular, the interception. I have no idea what he was looking at. No clue. That was so un-Drew Brees-like.
Well, did you see that shot where it looked like the receiver was like camouflaged into the the cornerback or the safety was camouflaged into the Raiders logo. So they were showing an angle. Did you see that? They showed an angle on Twitter, and you almost can't see them. Like, you really can't. So I don't know, but I mean, I was like, Maybe that's why. I don't know.
I wish I could share the 2 texts I just got from 1265 Lombardi. When we're off the air, I will be sharing those with you. It is brilliant. All right.
Oh, okay.
Let's go with.
Did I do something?
No. Okay.
Okay.
My next thing about the Saints game, whether they go ball control, whether they run the football, no matter what they do, Rodgers is going to cook. Rodgers is going to cook on Sunday night, people.
Yeah.
I don't care if Devonta's in. What's that meme? You know, where they have the guy with the do-rag and the cigarette tucked behind his ear? One of those for Aaron Rodgers. Superdome, Silverdome, Metrodome, it don't matter.
Yeah.
Rodgers is going to cook.
Well, and yeah, now as soon as you kind of take away the crowd noise, you just evened everything for Aaron Rodgers. So
here's the biggest part.
You just made it so that you made the most difficult thing for him easy.
Easy. The thing is, it's not just him too. It's the tackles. It's the idea of Bakhtiari and Wagner most likely, although maybe it's Billy Turner. We don't know. But whoever's at tackle, you're not having to look in. Yeah, but I don't think people kind of take that into account enough, as much as they should when it comes to these places like New Orleans, Minnesota, etc. Yes, these teams are hard to play, especially when it's third down, because these tackles are at such a disadvantage. Now, hi, now I'm heads up. Now I can look at you. Now I can hear the quarterback. It's a world of difference. And I think you saw that in Minnesota.
I mean, think about here's an example right here. Nagler, we're doing it. I only can listen to you. I cannot see you. Okay?
Right.
So I'm just going right off your voice, but we're able to communicate. We're able to like get a lot of things, make a lot of stuff happen thousands of miles away from each other.
Baby.
If I had to look at you the whole time, it wouldn't work. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah,
no. If you
for lots of reasons. Yeah, I understand.
No, but what I'm saying is, you know, it's one of those things where it seems like a small thing, but it's actually a very big detail
especially for Rodgers.
Puts the advantage over to the offense. Yeah.
Every game this team has to play in a neutral environment on the road is a gift to Aaron and the offense. That's all it is.
No doubt.
The big worry, now I keep talking about Drew Brees, but really the big worry is Kamara, obviously. I think anybody who watches any modicum of football knows this. Brees certainly has his limitations. He can still get it done. He can still be effective. But Kamara is the real worry. And I'm not talking about, you know, isolating him on a screen pass or even utilizing him on a wheel route or whatever. Those are all dangerous, and he'll definitely they'll attempt to use him in that way. But just between the tackles, are you kidding me? Without Kenny Clark? Oh, God. I shudder to think.
I don't want to think about it.
I shudder to think. That's why
I don't want to think about it.
They got to control the ball. What's the thing?
Here's the thing. Yeah, that's their only. Or we get some ascension into Mike Pettine's defense, and we get some buy-in, and maybe we can plug up some holes. I mean, you know, I
think that's on the defensive coordinator having to be a little bit more aggressive.
Hey,
I don't want to be that guy at the end of the bar saying he needs to blitz more. But Corey, I'm at the end of the bar. My beer is empty, and I'm saying I think Mike needs to blitz a little bit more. That's just me.
Well, speaking of blitz, did you see the? Obviously, I'm sure you saw it. The Z and Brian Baldinger
oh my gosh.
video,
Amazing.
Dude. If they just did that without any edits, okay, like
just
literally,
raw.
if they like streamed it like a Twitch, like if it was just like 3 hours of that, like, hey Z, let's go over every good play you've ever had in your whole entire career and just talk about it, dude. I'm all in. I'll subscribe to that. Like I'll pay monies, dollars, monies, lots of monies,
monies, dollars.
I'll pay the monies.
Corey,
I'll pay the monies.
It's that
time.
time.
But what I was gonna say is, there's one of the. Hold on.
Okay,
there's one of the. There was a point to that. I'm sorry. So one of the plays was a blitz, okay? That he actually was able to stop the run because where Z he actually blitzes. Oh my God! But it becomes a run blitz. It's pretty amazing. Right.
So do more of that.
Sorry, that was a point to that. So when you when you go back and watch that, that'll compare to what Nagler's saying. Yes. All right, we can do Blogosphere now.
All right, Al, roll it.
This week in the Packer Blogosphere.
That's right! It's This Week in the Packer Blogosphere, the return of that venerable series. Oh, baby! let me tell you, Corey, we haven't done This Week in the Packer blogosphere in many moons. Many moons. And there were many things over the offseason. That's many moons. And there were a lot of things.
I pissed a lot of people off, Nagler.
Over the offseason.
I pissed a lot of people off.
Well,
a lot of people unfollowed me on Twitter.
Welcome to the club, Corey. Welcome to the club. So many longtime followers have left me.
It's kind of par for the course.
But you know what? I've gained so many new followers, and I've loved each and every one of them. Welcome to all of them. I bid the old ones adieu. And like I said, there's a lot going on this offseason that we could have talked about, that I wanted to talk about, that I thought, oh, should that be the blogosphere? Should this be the blogosphere? And then, sweet NFL season, you arrive and you always provide. This week is no different. In this corner, weighing who knows how much, but with a bald head, it's Rob Demovsky. And in the other corner, we have an army of analytics nerds. It's time to rumble. Specifically, I wanted to play a little bit of Matub's take. Now, before we roll, Al, wait, no, I got to say something. So I love Matub. I genuinely have affection for and or love Matub. All right, so let's get that out of the way. I think
I'm there.
Hottest take of the week is amazing. I love that it's back. I loved his take on Jermichael Finley, which was going to be what I was going to talk about last week for Blogosphere, but now that's that's old hat at this point. I mean,
I like that too.
So,
I like that take.
So that take was great. I have some retorts. And I encourage everybody to go to Acme Packing Company and watch the full video, because I don't want to play it all here, but I just want to play a slice of what Matub had to say. And now, again, I love Matub, and Matub is here representative of feelings towards Rob and or the beat that I take issue with. So, Al, roll it. And this is a bit
Bill
long,
Huber
but roll it.
Walked back his take quite a bit, and he basically said that he doesn't use DVOA because his readers are stupid. That was what it all kind of boiled down to. Which your job as a journalist is to inform people. So what's wrong with informing people about an advanced analytic? It's not the end all be all. It's not a perfect stat. But you know what's not a perfect stat? Passer rating. And at this point, most people are well versed in passer rating enough to know that it's pretty good in certain situations, but it's horrible in others. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with using DVOA? It's another tool in your toolbox. And in fact, I can't even believe I'm just talking about this take just bothers me to no end. Rob Demovsky straight up said he does not want to learn. He is bragging about his willful ignorance of something that is very important to a lot of teams and a lot of coaches in the NFL. People use DVOA who are much more important in the world of football than me or Demovsky or any other jack wagon on the internet. In a time where there seems to be a glorification of ignorance and people not trusting journalism, I know it's sports and we're not supposed to take it that seriously, but don't be that guy. Educate your readers. Educate yourself.
All right. Okay. Like I said, Corey, I have some thoughts. Okay. First of all, I do love that Matub.
I mean, DVOA is garbage. Let me just say that, by the way. It's garbage. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So DVOA is a useful tool, and I know you and I will never agree on this. And I will just state that to begin, right? However, to defend Rob and the beat here, especially Rob and Bill, especially from what Matub just said, which I know is representative of how a lot of people feel. First of all, I love that Matub did end it with, I know it's just sports, because this ain't Watergate, all right? Rob isn't talking to Deep Throat to try and find the secrets of the Packers.
Well, that's
offense,
what I love about Matub too, is he has perspective. Okay, he has perspective.
Yeah, he does,
so
and that's why
I appreciate that.
That's why I say I love the man. I do. And this again, it comes down to the gist of his thing early on with Bill, and then turning to Rob was, they don't want to know. They're glorifying their ignorance, and they think their readers are stupid. Okay, all of that is bullshit. All right. If you are on the beat and you are trying to gather the information, because you say your job is to educate, no, your job is to report. There's a difference. And DVOA, you talk to the people in lot 1. You go over to Stadium View after a game. Do you think they're talking about DVOA? Are they talking about that sick-ass throw from Aaron Rodgers for a touchdown? You know, they're not stupid. It's just how people come to the game. Yes, some people love DVOA, love getting in the weeds, love getting down with the numbers. A lot of people aren't into that at all. And I've worked so many places where you want to talk about analytics, where the data will support that. People don't want to do homework. All you got to do is Google. I dare you at home right now. Google, what is DVOA? Just do it and find out what you look at what you see.
Don't do it.
And you will automatically glaze over. Again, this is I'm speaking as someone who values DVOA. And I understand its uses, its limitations. I'm all for it. But this idea that Rob or Bill don't want to know or can't educate themselves or don't want to educate themselves. No, they know who their audience is. And they know if they put in even a little bit of DVOA nonsense into their stuff, people are going to glaze over and click out. Ultimately, they are writing and reporting for an audience, and you're not it. And that's fine. That's fine. And then the other thing was this idea that the reporters are willfully ignorant. Do you have any idea how fucking busy these people are in season? Any clue? I mean, any idea? It's one thing to be in your home or even in your office or whatever.
I hear you.
No, they could. They could spend the off season and taking a deep dive rather than being on the golf course.
No, I'm not talking about that.
You know?
My only complaint right now between Rob Demovsky and Bill Huber, and it's more of a Bill Huber thing. I just wish Bill Huber would write down the question he wants to ask on paper and make it grammatically correct before he asks it. That's it. And I know he can do it. I know he's not that busy that he can do it. That's all I ask. And if that's me being a dick to reporters, fine. Okay, I know everybody's ready for a damn rant, but I'm not going to rant on everybody because I don't want to be called an ass face.
It's been 50 minutes, Behnke, and you haven't ranted once. I mean, I'm a little disappointed, actually.
I got nothing. Dude, we're 2-0. What do I got to rant about?
What do you got to rant about?
It's great stuff.
How about the fact that everyone's going to have to leave and they're not going to be able to re-sign everybody?
Nagler, I know I put that in the script, but I was going to skip it.
It was
because
literally
I didn't want to get sad about it, and now you got to bring
addition.
it back.
You put it in there, buddy. Not me. You put it in there. You know why? Because you stayed up, you made your stupid fucking Google sheet, and then you did some tweets, and then you went to bed. And you thought, yep, I'm ready to talk about it. So here we are, Behnke. What do you want to talk about?
Okay. Here's what I think. Okay, so I wrote this down. Okay, I wrote this down.
Yep.
And I'm sure we're out of time.
No, we got 10 minutes. We got 10 minutes.
Look, I got the gloves on, so I can't even.
We'll do this.
I can't even go into my own pocket. Okay.
We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do the super chats,
check this out,
and then we'll get out of here.
I got you. So the future. Okay. So the future.
Wait,
so here's my list of the 5 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Here is my list of the 5 people that I think, in the order that I think are the most important, and I want to hear your take, okay?
Okay.
So number 1 is David Bakhtiari.
Correct.
Number 2, Corey Linsley. Number 3, Aaron Jones. Number 4, Kevin King. Number 5, Jamal Williams. And I want to make one caveat that you could, and I understand if you took Dylan. So there is a case to be made for letting Jones get a bigger contract or maybe a 1-year, some kind of thing, and letting him kind of do what he needs to do. And I know this is sacrilegious, so I'm just saying, saying in the past.
Letting Aaron Jones
Jamal
walk.
Williams is your second.
Right.
Yeah, and Jamal Williams is your second. I'm not saying I want to do that. I'm just saying, is Goody thinking like that? So those are my 5, Nagler. I know you're going to probably disagree with my number 2, right?
Okay, no. Well, it's an interesting discussion because, and probably longer than one that we can discussion we can have right now. But it's an interesting point in the sense that, if you want to have a excellent offensive line, you're going to have to pay them. I think the argument against paying Corey, and I think this is what a lot of people thought, especially after the draft, was we've already seen Lucas Patrick step in and play well. And that's not to say he's the heir apparent or he's going to automatically replace him. But then they also did go out and draft Hansen, who is a center by trade. And you have to think the writing's on the wall in the sense of that's how Brian and the Packers have operated for the last 20 years. As far as we know there's contracts coming up, and now we're going to guard against, well, we'd love to have you back, but we're not going to break the bank for you because we've got younger guys behind you who we're bringing up and developing, and they've already seen Lucas Patrick can do it. And they did just extend him by 2 years. So they know they have a ready replacement.
Yeah.
So that's their
Well,
leverage.
and to
with
your
Corey,
point, Corey's
which
making
because Corey's the man. We love Corey.
It's like, yeah, he's making like 8 to 12. I don't know what the main thing is. Like the highest paid center, the cap number is like 16.
Right.
So really, it's not breaking the bank in my opinion. But if you can, anyway, I do want to say this on the free agent list: Lewis, Irvin, Redmond, Taylor, Montravius Adams.
Yes.
So are they going to sign any of those before they sign the top fives?
Oh hell no.
The top 5 I said.
I mean,
those are the
no,
right?
But you're talking about a priority list, but they may sign them like sequentially out of order. Because certain deals are easier to get done than others.
Because they can get somebody on a deal. Right.
I mean, hell, Montravius Adams would jump at something. You talked to Montravius Adams about an extension right now. You'd say, I'll give you the, a little bit over the vet minimum for the next 3 years. You'd probably say, yep, sign me up. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? So, yeah, those deals may get done quicker. And I'm being facetious with Adams, but I'm just saying.
But what do you see getting done? You see Aaron Jones getting done. David Bakhtiari and Jones are really the two that got to get done very soon.
I think both of those get done. I'll be surprised if any of the others do, including Kevin King, which I don't love.
Wow.
Including Corey Lindsley, which I don't love. But yeah,
and some of that you got to think some of that is because you don't know. You don't know where the cap's going to be, too, right?
Well,
so there's a little bit of a moving target here.
Here's what's worse. It is a bit of a moving target, but you have a pretty good indication. There's a pretty good idea of where it's going to land.
And it's going to be low.
You don't know exactly, but you got to plan for it. You got to plan for that moving target, and that's what you've seen.
But the thing is, what I don't understand, okay, here's what I don't understand on the bigger cap issue, okay, and I'm not smart enough to understand it. Fox is about to spend $2 billion.
Yep.
$2 billion.
Yeah, but it ain't
so
cash
they're literally going to double
Behnke.
their deal.
I know.
I understand, but what I'm saying is if like 70 to 80% of the revenues from a broadcast deal that you know you're going to get 100% on,
and that's the argument.
why the hell?
Yes,
only reason, here's my thing, the only reason, okay, that the cap is going to go down is so Jerry Jones and these owners, these 32 owners, these 31 owners can line their pockets with it.
Well, there's the argument to be made that, yes, look at Kenny Clark's deal, where the first 2 years are pretty much negligible from a cap hit standpoint, and then it jumps to like 20-something because they know that's the year these deals will kick in, the media rights deals.
Yeah.
So the argument, obviously there, if you're David Bakhtiari, is go, oh, well, fine. Give me a huge guarantee that's going to prorate over the life of the deal. I'll make sure, let's make it so my cap hit is minimal early on, and let's get to work, The problem is it's such a huge, intricate puzzle. And there are a lot of moving parts, and that's including all the guys they need to sign. So it's like I understand people's frustration. I understand Dave's frustration in not having it done yet. Most likely, that's why he wouldn't be talking out of turn on the radio unless he was a little frustrated. But it'll get done. Brian said it's a priority. I'd be absolutely shocked if they let him walk. I'll be absolutely shocked. But hell, I've been
can you
shocked
that is
before.
one of the most important? But that is literally one of the most important positions on the offense, if not the most important position.
And he's one of the best in the league, if not the best at it. Yes. And Brian literally said, when we talked to him this summer, the data shows tackles play well into their mid-30s. Well, guess what? We get this deal done, David will be here probably at least through his early 30s. So get it done. Wrap it up. Speaking of wrapping it up, we got to get to some super chats here, buddy. We got to view the queue. Are you ready? Are you ready, sir?
Yes.
If you guys haven't,
I'm carrying the G.
You're carrying the G. Good. If you guys haven't already, you should watch Sterling Sharp talk about the Hall of Fame. Really good arguments. Sterling Sharp should have been in ages ago. Jesse, thanks for the super chat. So pumped that Packer Transplants is back. Missed you, Corey. The people missed you, Corey. They really missed you. We got, what do we got? We got Joey G. Tailgate went great. We outdid your dare, Behnke. Proof on Twitter. Proof on Twitter, you say?
I'm ready.
Interesting. We got Overshadow Sean.
Okay.
Thank you, Sean. So good to see you again, buddy. It feels like Packer season has started because Overshadow Sean has given us a super chat on Packer Transplants. Packer Transplants is back. All is right with the world. Ignore the other stuff. Go, Pack, go. That's what I'm talking about, buddy.
All right.
Charlene, one of our
There's
most,
other stuff?
There's so much other stuff. Charlene is one of our most generous Patreon members. She says, 5:15 a.m. on a Thursday where I am, and I'm up for Packer Transplants. Go, Pack, go to 3-0. That's what I am talking about. Thank you, Charlene.
Thank
you so much for the support.
Thank you.
What we got here, we got Chuck T, MTB, Corey, your beer fridge has inspired me to organize my own beer fridge, and I just want to thank you.
Nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nice. I love it.
Packer up.
You know what's hard about having a beer fridge? Here,
What's that?
Nagler, you know what's hard, and you know this. You actually taught me this.
Oh,
you know
no.
what's the hardest thing about having a beer fridge is not drinking beer. Okay, I'm just going to say that. Sounds obvious, but
Tell me about it. Yeah, when I stay with Behnke, I gain at least 15 pounds. Packer up. Thank you for the
you're
super
like,
chat.
look, a fridge
Look
full
at all
of
this
beer.
beer.
I want to drink something.
And I tell my host, hey, look, I'll replace all that. And he says, don't worry, I've already got it all replaced. It's like that Coke machine in the office back in the day. Like
Unlimited beer.
Unlimited Coke. I got unlimited beer. It's a problem. That's all I'm saying.
When I die, okay, here's what I'm saying. When I die, I'm gonna have a map to where I buried all the spotted cow that I've put as backups. Okay.
That's good.
I'll leave that. I'll will that to you,
I was
buddy.
just gonna say, leave it in the will and have it read like Knives Out style. It'll be great.
Yeah, you'll have to you'll get that spotted cow from 2010, get that spotted cow from 2015. It'll be like a treasure map.
I love it. Packer up. My hope is we put another great wide receiver performance on Sunday Night Football. That could make for a fun week of sports media backpedaling. Oh God, I'm living for it. No, but you see, here's the problem. It won't be backpedaling. It'll be tripling down. The Packers will explode for 45 points. MVS will have 180 yards and 2 touchdowns. Alan Lazard will go off for 150 on his own. And some knob with the draft industrial complex will say, sure, the Packers are 3-0. And yeah, their guys went for 1,000,000 yards, but just imagine how much better it would all be if they had drafted a wide receiver that I put in my mock draft for their first round
You know
pick.
who did that? You know who literally did that was Colin Cowherd. Colin Cowherd literally said that. He was like,
week.
oh, well.
Sorry, Al. Our producer is very upset that I spit all over the microphone in this age of COVID. So we'll have to sanitize it afterwards.
You want to talk about a rant? The rant that I have is my classic rant, where it's like, can Green Bay catch a break? Can we just catch a break? Can you just not treat Green Bay like a 100,000 person city and give it the goddamn respect that it deserves, being one of 32 teams in the NFL? Being literally the most amazing of the 32 teams in the NFL with the greatest stadium on earth. So just give it some props. Can we just get a little bit? For one time, could a national sports reporter not just go, "Oh, Green Bay," instead of comparing them to the Giants or the Cowboys? Like the Giants and the Cowboys, it's like, "Oh, the Giants and the Cowboys, they're supposed to do X." And the expectation level for Green Bay is just—it's pathetic. I'm over it.
The thing that pisses me off is it's kind of in tune with what you're talking about, because it's like, so Green Bay does things differently. And look, they've been really successful at it for literally decades. So maybe recalibrate your idea of what Green Bay is going to do when you draw up your stupid fucking mock drafts, or you talk about free agency, or about what a team is going to do at the trade deadline, or whatever you want to talk about when it comes to the machinations of putting together an NFL roster. The Packers know what the fuck they're doing. That's what drives me nuts.
Well, and the dichotomy, really the dichotomy you have, I always bring up the Cowboys and the Giants, but really it's Boston. Okay, Boston has a few more rings, but if you look at division wins and you look at everything else, we're pretty close from the 90s on.
And
it's once we beat them in the Super Bowl, and it's because Boston is 100 times bigger than Green Bay, they've got a lot more assholes like us who are screaming for them, you know?
Fair.
It's really what it comes down to.
Fair point. Oh, wait, look, somebody else is back. Uncultured Barbarian. This really is a classic Packer Transplants. So we got
Whoa.
Overshadow Sean. We got
Nice.
Uncultured Barbarian is up in the house. Behnke's Pitch Perfect comment made me laugh beer out of my nose. Also, Chandan Sullivan is a beast. I mean, those two thoughts really do go together.
Oh my God,
so,
Chandan Sullivan. I was going to bring him up. Yeah,
I mean,
you brought up
what a
Jair
play.
and Kevin King,
What a
and as
play.
soon as they keyed on them, Chandan Sullivan.
Well, what's
boom.
great about Chandan is you had that play earlier in the game where he gave up that third down, and it was real easy, and it looked like, oh God, like that was a tough play to watch.
Yeah.
But then he comes back and
Yeah.
has a
Yeah, he got
great
redemption.
play for the pick six. You said it on the watch party, a redemption play for Chandan Sullivan. That's what you want from your young guys. Short memories, go make a play, go make a game-changing play. I love it. And okay, finally, last super chat. Patrick, another Patreon member checking in here. CheeseheadTV est le meilleur chaîne YouTube de mon entrée. CheeseheadTV is the best YouTube channel in the world.
What?
That was my French or
Sweet.
whatever, wherever Patrick's from. That
I don't
was
even
my
know
attempt
what
at
that
his.
was, but it wasn't French there, buddy.
All I know is CheeseheadTV is the best YouTube
Wow.
channel in the world, is what he's saying. That's what I'm talking about. And
Sweet.
Hey,
I love it. I love
can't-
it in French. I love it in Russian.
I
I
love
love
it
it in all the languages.
in everything that is spoken worldwide. You know, and hey, you've heard us mention a couple times Patreon members. Speaking of Patreon members, the Cheesehead TV Happy Hour Zoom happening post-transplants tonight. So in about 10, 15 minutes, we're going to be down in beers, talking football. Patreon members, make sure you join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. The link is up on the Patreon page. If you guys want to join Patreon, all we ask is $5 a month. It supports everything we do, including our live game day watch parties, 5+ hours of live streaming each and every game day, including this Sunday night. It's going to be a ton of fun. Corey, you got anything else for the fine folks there on the internet?
Let's go 3-0, baby.
That's
Let's do
what
it.
I'm talking about. That'll do it for this 2020 debut edition of Packer Transplants. We'd like to thank everyone who joined us today and who makes Cheesehead TV part of the daily Packers routine. We are and will always be devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide.